Well, in the preseason, everybody thought that Notre Dame had two major games, and those were their first two games of the season. Sunday before Labor Day at Miami, they fell short. So they can't fall short here today against the Texas A&M Aggies. And the Aggies, on the other hand, are trying to make a statement that they can be a true playoff and SEC contender this season. Will they be able to do it? A lot to unpack here in this game. My name is Colin Bashnigal, your host here of Bash's College Football Show. And if you go over to TikTok, you'll see all the reactions. Just search Bash's CFB Show throughout the day. But without further ado, let's get into this game preview. The Aggies on the road against the Irish, who are 0-1 after a devastating loss. I thought the game plan for CJ Carr was very, how do I put this? They stuck to it a little bit too long. I think that's the way we should put it. It wasn't a bad idea to design stuff to get the ball out of CJ Carr's hands, but when they had to open up the offense, CJ Carr was able to execute. Trying to build confidence for him was also a mistake because they didn't lean on the run game. They played an experienced front seven that looked much improved in Miami, but still, I think that they need to try to establish the run game. Will they be able to do that tonight? That's going to be the big question. But the big story of last year's game was the ineffectiveness of the Texas A&M offense against that Notre Dame defense. I didn't like some of the stuff that Chris Ash was doing. A lot of respect personally for Chris Ash, but it just was not good enough what they were able to put on the field. A little bit too much zone cover two shell with not enough man coverage, which is the identity that got Notre Dame to the national championship a year ago. Does Chris Ash lean more into that identity? The problem is, when you're playing a quarterback like Marcel Reed, who can hurt you with his feet, it might be a little bit more sketchy to run a man defense, a man heavy style of defense, because you do not have that counter when all of the secondary and the DBs, their head is on the man they're guarding and not on the quarterback. If you're playing zone, those eyes are in the backfield. Take Thursday Night Football, for example, with Green Bay Packers trying to keep Jaden Daniels contained as they did. This Texas A&M offense, though, they need to show it to be more consistently dynamic. It wasn't until the third quarter, fourth quarter, that they've been able to pull away from these lower level competition teams. I need to see Texas A&M do it on offense on a consistent basis against a good defense. And against Notre Dame, I'm not sure if they can do that. Now, they got good weapons. I really love Casey Concepcion. I think they have really good running backs as well. I mean, Le'Veon Moss is a really, really good running back to start with. And the O-line's really good too. So they're going to be able to find a way to run the ball a little bit and have some success, especially since they saw another good offensive line in Miami really be able to establish a little bit of a run presence in that game. Do they have the dynamic ability at wide receiver and the consistency at quarterback, though, that Miami had? Because that's what it took to win by a field goal, was that type of consistency and trust into that offense against this Notre Dame defense. I'm not sure if Texas A&M has that. We got to see it first. The other part, too, with Notre Dame is their wide receiver core is much better than what people want to acknowledge it as. Malachi Fields is a really good player, and I think he didn't have his best game against Miami, but he showed a lot of flashes in that game. Jaden Greathouse, Jordan Faison, they get the ball in their hands, and I don't think we're going to be stuck with these quick pass game, these screens, these short pass, try to get the ball out of CJ's hands very quickly in this game, because this is a less proven front seven for Texas A&M than what Miami has. I mean, Miami has potentially a top 10, top 15 pick as an edge rusher in Ruben Bain. Texas A&M doesn't have that to our knowledge right now, so we're just going to have to see how this goes. The experience of the back seven, but they struggled in the past too. So we'll see what happens with Texas A&M. They're going to have to show me that they can elevate to a level to go on the road and win in South Bend. I am taking Notre Dame to pull away and win this game by a score of 27-17. I think that this is just going to be too much for Texas A&M. That is indeed going to be barely under the 49.5 and Notre Dame covering 6.5. That is my prediction. It's a little bit shorter of a preview, I know, but we're trying to squeeze them all in. Make sure you guys like the video if you like the video, and go over to my TikTok if you want to see more.